Hey, greetings folks. Performance Reviews here, where we give you the review from the technician's point of view. And this is some Patreon sponsored content, so big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. Some of this will be in their exclusive videos as well. So what we have here is a Royal PowerCast, and this was rushed out a long time ago in order to update Royal's line, desperately trying to save Royal. This is right before TTI bought them. So this is really a prototype they put into production. Really a cool machine. Has a lifetime belt, bypass motor. And this one came from another vacuum collector, which I always appreciate. Apparently it used to belong to a very famous vacuum collector who's no longer with us, so I didn't know this individual, but he's very famous in the vacuum collector community. So RIP Austin. So let's get to cleaning this up and really kind of trying to make this viable to do kind of a review and show and tell on this, because it is, even though it was original, it's kind of beat up. Now, I changed the bag already, but there's a little bag hack. You can use a Type W bag from Recar Simplicity. I have not opened one of these up, by the way. Oh gosh, it's got to be like 12 years since I last saw one of these. Oh, look at that. Yeah, you need a screwdriver to change the filter. That's gross. They don't make these anymore, so I'm gonna have to vacuum and wash this the best I can. So that's probably number one. See what we can do. We're going to have to take this out and blow this whole machine out. Now, there was a Dirt Devil that took like a HEPA filter that was similar shaped, but a different machine. That's actually metal down there. So let's see what's in. Alright. Just took the wrong screw off for the filter. My bad. Put that back on. So there is what was considered premium filters back in the day. And there is a HEPA-shaped item that does fit in this. So I might look into getting that. They're kind of rare, though. So this is the pad filter over here. So it actually filters alright if these are not too full of stuff. But again, they're pretty bad. And then whoever previously owned this after Austin, I believe it was a Mr. Bill, owned this from my understanding. He put a lot of like fragrancy stuff in this, and I really hate the smell of this machine right now. Even though it's nothing like nasty like Can't Vomit, I just can't stand the smell of the machine. So that's that stuff. So that's the filters, which you needed 6 screws to get to. That's user friendly, ain't it? This cover is just overly built, overly complicated. And again, these are circa like 2000, probably like 2007, 2010. That kind of when they made these. This one has a date code of 2003. I'm completely wrong. So, getting to the bottom side, take a look. Oh, my drill is dead. Getting to the bottom side. And again, I'm just doing this really to clean it up, because I want to demo it to you folks, because it is such a cool machine. And this whole underside is all like cast pot metal, aluminum. It has these thick machine screws. This is actually painted metal of some sort. I didn't realize that. The belt, I have had to change these belts. Once I had to stock these. This one's fine. There's the roller. So we'll clean that up. Ooh, these bearings are buttery smooth. Again, the machine has not gotten a lot of use. I'm only cleaning it up because of the fragrance in this case. Really, it's just the wheels are pretty Like they have a lot of debris on them, and nothing else is particularly bad. And you can see why they call it a PowerCast. You can see that everything is cast aluminum that does not need to be. Yeah, it makes all these chunk sounds as well. The other thing I want to show you folks is this, as big and heavy as this is, doesn't have onboard tools. It has this port right here, and then there's a very large 2-inch diameter suction hose, and this allows for great airflow through the machine. So let's go blow it all out. Well, I fucked up on that one. I simply was just wheeling it across the floor, you know. My garage floor is completely smooth and there's no like cracks or anything. And it just, because of the age of the machine, that wheel just cracked. So that's not going to be fixed up for a while, folks. We're going to have to really go out on a limb to find this wheel. It is different than the Royal wheels, I believe, the traditional Royal wheels, all of which have not been made for a while, so I feel really bad about that, but I was just wheeling it like you would a normal vacuum. I wasn't doing anything abusive or mean to the machine, so the plastic is very brittle on this. Of course, this is aluminum right here. So we're going to have to search for parts, and I'm going to have to clean this up. This is going to be a long-term project. Well, here's how I'm going to get this off. Yep, all that drama just to get this off. I got the new wheels in, and I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but they're slightly different sized hole. The diameter, though, is about the same. So we're going to try real quick to ream them out. And I've got a carbide ream here, which is a little overkill, but let's see what happens here. And nylon's always a little bit weird to work with because it can melt. So you have to kind of just slowly move it, and again, that's we're good. So we've reamed that out. See if we can, so that should fit now. So I've reamed the wheel out and now it fits. A little bit loose. The sizing they used was a wacky, some sort of SAE. It was like 8.2 millimeters, and I either had a 9 millimeter or an 8 millimeter ream. I didn't even have an SAE drill bit that matched it, so what I did there was just ream it out to a full 9 millimeters, which gives it a little bit of play, but for vacuum that's perfectly acceptable. Now I got to put the clip back on. Once again, when you don't order things from wholesale vacuum suppliers weekly, things take longer. So I was able to remount the wheel in such a manner that I was able to get these Royal wheels to work. But now I needed the pieces that I took off, which, you know, these things, kind of one-time use, not so good. So I got two alternatives to try. I got the exact replacement, my local Ace Hardware store, and I got some of these. We'll see which work. And the prices of these things, well, they're hard to beat. Heck, I'm sure there's a special tool for doing this, but what I like to do is, for this sort of thing, I like to use a socket that corresponds nicely. And then I'll just give it a nice little love tap. Let's give that some tri-flow, and I think we'll be good. I think we're going to be in business. I'm happy to see that. This time we're going to give it a little bit of tri-flow first. I think that's kind of probably the better solution. So, put that on. heck? Man, that is slick. That works beautifully. I'm happy with that. I might not sound enthusiastic, but I am very happy with that. And I bought some extras, and we'll just keep those. Discard this stuff. So let's get on to the rest of the PowerCast and rebuilding it, and really just cleaning it. Like I said, the collector who had it before me left smelly stuff in there, and I can't personally stand it. He didn't, do anything bad or anything to it. It was just like that. So, it is time to soap the belt. And for whatever reason, these belts did break, even though they're supposed to be long life belts. I did notice that when I worked in Albuquerque. That was one of those things that I would see on a regular basis, is I actually would stock these and go, there was a time when I was going through, 5, 10 of those a month, which for a weird belt like that was sold low volume, it's kind of weird. There we go. There's the roller. Everything else is clean and nice. Like I said, this machine was owned by collectors 100% of the time, so I'm not really worried about some of the things that you would normally be worried about. Now there's an arrow here, which tells me there's probably an arrow on the brush roller somewhere. Ah, there's a big arrow on the brush roller. I'll wipe that down. Sometimes stuff just sitting in my shop accumulates like dust. I don't have an air purifier down here, and I rely on an exhaust fan in my shop. And sometimes that exhaust fan is not on during the winter, because I do not wish to pull, when it's 20 degrees, any more hot air out of the house than I have to. So maybe an air purifier in the future for the shop. Excellent. All right, well, that's just going to snap back in. The gaskets on here, the fact that there are gaskets on here, there's just so many little, strange, minute details that didn't need to be here that are here. Tell you what, if Daddy Doug was here, he would go crazy with the quirks and features of this machine. Let's grab the rest of the screws, which are not lost this time. And you can see these nice big button head industrial screws. I will take the pleasure of screwing in by hand just for the fun of it. Because the castings were pretty bad on these. I don't actually believe this to be a very durable vacuum. I think it could have been, but the way these castings are, they sketchy would not begin to cover it. If anybody's familiar with like Jennings, Jennings comes to mind. If anybody knows what a Jennings is, that's the kind of casting work that we do on here. Yeah, maybe a step above Jennings, but still pretty bad. This has a metal base plate. Wait till my wife sees this machine. She's gonna question our marriage. This is such a beast. All right. Now you can see the motor kind of in here. And I was gonna order some HEPA filters for this, but it seemed kind of silly when there's a HEPA bag now. And I ran it a bit, kind of cleaned it out the best I could. This is what they thought was acceptable for a post-motor filter. Again, this was sold alongside plenty of uprights and stuff. Filtration really became into play when this was made. Now, these are the weirdest. Facing in. All right, which means this goes like that. And like I said, the only thing holding these in place are these. Well, I have to do this one first because it's a Royal. Or these little things. These really don't filter anything but the carbon brushes at best. Again, I have a nice HEPA bag to run in this, so I'm not too worried about that. And there's a variety of different ones. You can fit a HEPA Y bag in here, or you can fit a W from a Recar in here. The W from the Recar is what I had laying around, so I'm throwing that in there, just in case anybody was wondering what I'm using. Now, I do see some dust alongside here. I'm going to vacuum that. Alright, well this took a trip in the dishwasher. We're going to put this part back on. Change filter on. Yeah, I'm kind of... yeah. We'll just say Royal PowerCast, or Royal PowerCast. Using 4 screws to get to the post-motor filter does not encourage customers to change anything. In fact, it doesn't even look like there would be a filter under there if I didn't know there was a filter under there. And we're going to put this in. Again, I'm doing all these screws by hand because the quality of workmanship on this is, to sum up with one word, would be brittle. I washed this in the washing machine. Questionable decision. Something rattled on there. I don't like that. But such is PowerCast life. And then there are 2 screws to hold down the pre-motor filter, which they could have, they're open-ended. They could have made, if it was open-ended the other way, you know, you could have just like lifted it out, but it's not, it's open-ended this way. This is why Royal went out of business. Or rather, they were going out of business, and TTI bought the name. All right, so those are all my screws. Because it was owned by vacuum cleaner collectors, they left this blue stuff on, which I could see, you know, you want to protect it, keep it shiny, you don't want it to scratch up. The problem with doing this is this stuff begins to degrade over time, so it's actually made the finish worse and degraded it. So we're going to see if we can't just, with a microfiber, clean some of that off. And that's as good as that's going to be. So I'm going to pull that off before it degrades anymore. Oh, PowerCast. It's like shiny, and I'm more familiar with the red one, which came with a big HEPA cartridge, and it like came with a hose. There's a hose. Yeah, there's a place to plug in a hose right there. But this is just so weird. It's such a weird machine. When my friend called me up, he was out of state, and he's like, "Hey, you want a PowerCast?" I couldn't say no. It's such a weird machine. This side might not be able to be rescued. Let's see. In the same fashion. Oh yeah, it's coming off. It's just, I just have to sit there and work it. It's too bad YouTube's so strict on copyright infringement. I could put like some Missy Elliott or something in there, just for the fun of it. But no, that would be bad. All right, so now this bumper. Let's have you take a look at the bumper. The bumper, yeah. Not much I can do about that. These are just real deep scuffs. And again, somebody used this. This was like, if you were a collector, you would use this because it's such a weird, fun machine. Like it does bring joy. So I'm just gonna wipe it off. the best I can. There. Man, so the aluminum just doesn't need to be there. A PowerCast logo, maybe a little bit of Windex on the aluminum. Would help us out. I'm not going to take this apart and polish it. These were never polished. But just, you know, showing people what's here. Windex to the rest of it. And just wipe off whatever dust or stuff that's, I don't know, it's wherever it was. Oh, you know what that is? Why this isn't coming clean? This handle material has Plastidip on it. The Plastidip is degrading. So that's lovely. Now the time you've all been waiting for. Turning on the PowerCast. Oh, I need to make sure there's no holes in this hose. A 2-inch hose. Let's see if we're on carpet. Yep. Oh my. Well, that's the best I can do with that machine. Only a face a mother could love. So that's the Royal PowerCast basic maintenance service on the bench. Hope you folks have enjoyed that. Yeah, it's just never going to be smudge free. Give this video a thumbs up. Comment below if you have one of these. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you hit that subscribe, thumbs up button, and definitely go follow us on one of our other platforms and consider watching one of these other videos that will be here.